welcome to my channel Decode Science. My name is Muskan, and in this video I'm going to discuss about the discovery of cell and the cell theory. This is one of the very important topic of biology. So firstly, let's talk about the discovery of cell. The word cell derived from the Latin word cellula, which means the small compartment. So the definition of the cell is that the cell is defined as the structural and functional unit of life. So generally the scientist Robert Hooke in 1665, he was studying the cork. So he observed certain compartmental structures, and he compared that compartmental structures with the honeycomb. We all know how the honeycomb looks like. It has a small compartments. So that's why he observed the cork, and he found out that there are certain compartmental structures are there. That's why he studied the honeycomb, and that's why he studied the cork and compared it with the honeycomb, because he found out certain compartmental structures over there, and he considered it as a cell. But actually it was a cell wall only, not the entire cell, because those were the dead cells. So he observed only the cell wall, not the live cells. Later on, then a scientist called Anton van Leeuwenhoek generally see and described a live cell, which you call the animalcules. Generally, the discovery of microscope was took place that time, and he was observing certain materials under the microscope, and he found out certain living cells, which he called animalcules. This was a very important discovery in science, in biological science. Later on, then in 1831, a scientist called Robert Brown, he firstly discovered the nucleus and named it as a nucleus. He found out a nucleus and named it. Then the biological science, or the branch of the biology which deals with the study of structure, function, and other organization, study of the cell, is called as the cell biology or the cytology. So in short, the branch of biology which deals with the study of cell is called as the cell biology or cytology. So this is also one of the important definition. So this is all about the cell, discovery of the cell. So generally, firstly, the Robert Hooke observed the honeycomb-like structure in the cork, which he compartmental structure. Later on, then Anton van Leeuwenhoek described the animalcules, which were the live cell. He named them as the animalcules. And later on, then Robert Brown, he discovered the nucleus in 1831. Now the next topic is the cell theory. Cell theory is also known as cell doctrine. So cell theory is also known as cell doctrine. So there was a scientist called Matthias Schleiden in 1838. He was a German botanist. So in 1838, he examined certain types of plants and observed that all plants are made up of cell, or composed of cell. So he was a botanist. We know the botany is related to the plants. Botany is a branch of biology which deals with the study of plants, and he was observing certain plants, and he found out that plants are also composed of the cell. Later on, then in 1839, just after the 1 year, a scientist, Theodore Schwann, who was a zoologist, a British zoologist, he studied the different animal tissues. He studied the different animal tissues and found out that the animals are also made up of the cells. So generally, Schwann studied the connective tissues such as the bone and cartilage, and conclude that the living things are composed of both cells and the products or the secretions of the cells. The products or the secretions of the cells are like the enzymes and other things. So in that way, Schleiden and Schwann concluded that both plants and animals are made up of cells. So, but the failure of their discovery was like they could not explain that how new cells arise. They failed to explain that how new cells arise actually. So just because Schleiden and Schwann was failed to explain that how new cells arise, another scientist called Rudolf Virchow in 1855, he came and explained that cells generally divide and new cells are formed from the pre-existing cells only. He gave this statement omnis cellula e cellula, which means that every cell arises from the pre-existing cell or the previous cell. So what he said, that cells divide and new cells are formed from the pre-existing cells, which I know, or which we know right now, okay, which is a which is a part of the cell division, right? Consider this is a one cell and this is the nucleus. So it generally get divided through the process of cell division and forms the two another cells, which we call daughter cells. Okay, so these are the daughter cells. So generally that is what he said, that the every cell arises from the pre-existing cell by the process of division, which we call cell division right now. So this is a very famous statement, that is give the statement omne cellula e cellulae. If you are preparing any kind of exam like NEET and all, the question would be asked on this topic. It is one of the very important topic. Then the further topic is that the modern cell theory. This is not a modern cell theory, actually this is the modern version of cell theory. The modern version of cell theory. So there are certain statements are given in the modern version of cell theory. First, that all living organisms are made up of cells. So we all know that the all living organisms are made up of cells. Even the Schleiden and Schwann also concluded that the animals and plants both are made up of the cells. And right now we all know the other living organisms in the universe, like the microorganisms and all, they are also made up of the cell. So this is also one of the very important statement, that all living organisms are made up of cells only. Cell is the structural and functional unit of life. This statement is because that the fundamental unit of every life or the every living organism is cell. Okay, because we all know that firstly it will consider the example of humans. So firstly the zygote is formed, right, by the fusion of the male and female gamete, which is a type of cell only. And then further the different stages of the growth takes place, and later on then we get the individual, or we can say later on we get the complete organism in any animal. Similar thing happen in the plant also. The seeds, those are nothing but the type of cells only. So that's why they have given this statement that the cell is the structural and functional unit of life, because every organism is made up of cells only. Then all cells arise from the pre-existing cells, which is the statement of the Rudolf Virchow, which is which he called as a omni cellula e cellulae, right? So all cells arise from the pre-existing cells is a part of the cell division only. So this is important statement, that all cells arise from the pre-existing cells, because Schleiden and Schwann was unable to explain this topic, which Rudolf Virchow explained. Okay, then cells contain genetic information which is passed on from cell to cell during cell division. We all know that the cell contains DNA. So, this is the cell, which in center it has a nucleus where it contains DNA. So this is the genetic information which is generally present in the cell, and which pass generally to the next generation. Okay. So this is the point of cell division, that cells contain genetic information which is passed on from cell to cell during cell division. Later on, then the next statement is that the cells are self-duplicating, self-contained units, and some cells are totipotent. This is one of the very important topics. Self-duplicating means that they divide and form the daughter cells which would be similar to them, right? So this is the daughter cells. So these are the daughter cells and this is the parent cell. So generally the parent cell divide and form the cells which would be similar to them. That's why the cells are generally considered as a self-duplicating, self-contained units, and some cells are totipotent. This is also one of the important terminology, that is totipotent. What is meant by totipotency? So totipotency is nothing but the potential or the capacity. So totipotency is the potential or the capacity to differentiate, okay, to differentiate in different cell types. So this is generally, the totipotency is nothing but the potential or the capacity of cell to differentiate in different cell types. So this is the important term, that is the cell. Some cells are totipotent, especially the embryonic cells. Embryonic cells are totipotent and they are called as stem cells. They have a special very important medical applications. So this is all about the cell theory, that all living organisms are made up of cells and they are the structure and functional unit of life. These two statements, and this the third one statement. So these three statements are very important in cell theory. Now let's talk about the exception of the cell theory. So viruses are generally exception to the cell theory because viruses do not have the cellular organization. So generally, what is the structure of virus? So virus is nothing but the protein plus nucleic acid. So this is called as the virus. So what is the structure of virus? Generally, it has a protein coat outside. There are different shapes of the viruses. Right now I'm drawing randomly. So it is a protein coat. So right now it's a protein coat, and inside it has a genetic material. So this must be the nucleic acid. It can be a DNA or a RNA. You should know the difference between the DNA and RNA. So this is the general structure of a protein, the virus. So generally do not have the cellular organization, generally don't have a cell wall and cell membrane type of things, nucleus and other cellular organelles. So it don't have a cellular structure. That's why it is the exception to cell theory. So that's why viruses generally do not follow the cell theory, or they are generally not considered under the cells, the well organized cells. So this is all about the cell theory. We saw the discovery of cell. For the special thing that Anton van Leeuwenhoek firstly see the live cells, which we called animalcules. Later on, then the Matthew Schleiden and Schwann in 1838 to 1839. During that time, he was the one botanist and another one was the zoologist, who concluded that the plants and animals both are made up of cells. And but he was failed to explain that how new cells arise. Because of that, Rudolf Virchow in 1855 he came and explained that the cells generally divide and give rise to the new cells. So every cell generally exists from the pre-existing cells, and he gave the statement called omnicellular cellula. Then later on, there is a modern version of cell theory is available, which state that all living things are made up of these cells only. Then a cell is a structural and functional unit of life, and all cells arise from the pre-existing cells. These three statements are more important. Then there is a one important terminology which called as a totipotent or the totipotency, which is nothing but the potential or the totipotency. So which is nothing but the potential or the capacity of the cell to differentiate in different cell types. So, for example, the embryonic cells, which get differentiate into different types of cells in organism when zygote or the fetus is developing, which we also call as stem cells. Then there are a certain exception to the cell theory. The example is the virus. Viruses generally show exception to the cell theory because viruses do not show the proper cellular organization. They are made up of protein and nucleic acid only. So they are so viruses have the protein code. Generally we call them as the capsid, and and inside the capsid they have the nucleic acid, which can be either DNA or RNA. So that's why viruses do not comes under the cellular well organized cell, and it is the exception to the cell theory. So thank you guys. I hope you will like this video and it will clear all your concepts regarding to the discovery of cell and the cell theory. So please like and share this video and subscribe to my channel Decode Science. Thank you.